What's up, Movie Squad? Today we have huge MCU reboot updates. And before we get started with the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave me your comment if you enjoy and want to share your thoughts on my videos. I'd really appreciate it. If you hit that bell icon, hit all, you get all my notifications, all my live streams. You'll be notified, and I really appreciate that if you do so. Without further ado, today we have huge updates and rumors regarding the MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe reboot. And this is not a official update. These are rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. However, these are coming from big sources, big names and channels online, so I thought it would be fun to talk about and have a discussion about what's going on. So these rumors and updates are mainly talking about what's going on with the involvement of Doctor Doom and what's the lead up with Doomsday, Secret Wars, and what's going on with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a whole, right? So from what these sources are saying is their previous knowledge was the Marvel reboot wasn't going to happen until Secret Wars. But the big update is that the reboot is going to happen at the end of Avengers Endgame. Avengers Doomsday. So we're going to get a reboot set up at the end of Doomsday leading into Secret Wars. And what a lot of these sources are talking about is they mention the fact that Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers, who are directing the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, have all said that Avengers Secret Wars is going to be a new beginning. They referred to Infinity War and Endgame, those big movies, being the culmination and end of a storyline, a saga. However, they did say that Secret Wars was going to be the beginning, which makes a lot of people believe that that will be the beginning of the reboot, is actually going to be in Secret Wars and set up at the end of Doomsday instead of starting after Secret Wars completely. They're already going to jumpstart the reboot in Secret Wars. So that makes a lot of sense, and I want to talk about a lot more of the details that were shared, and I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are on all of this. So basically, fundamentally, I'm going to paraphrase and simple down a lot of these talking points, and I think we need to start with the fact that Doctor Doom is set to play a very complicated character like he is in the comics. However, his intention is, in his view, Doctor Doom thinks that he is doing what's in the best interest of the universe. And a lot of villains think they're doing the right thing, but that really does lead to a more satisfying villain than one that just knows that, oh, I'm just evil for the sake of being evil. But no, he truly believes that he wants the best for the multiverse. And one of the big things that happen in the movie is there's obviously all these incursions coming out, and these incursions are threatening all universes, all realities, and there's no end in sight for saving the whole multiverse. So essentially what happens is Doctor Doom is able to find Loki at the TVA, and instead of destroying the TVA, he pretty much takes over Kang's position, literally, as timekeeper. I forgot what they call it. He's in charge of the multiverse, but the multiverse is collapsing. So Doctor Doom essentially figures out a way to save the sacred timeline with a bunch of other characters from several different universes and timelines, and they're able to put them all in one universe, the sacred timeline, the MCU that we know, and we get all these characters under Doctor Doom's control as Savior, and that's how he becomes God Emperor Doom, and that's how you set up Battle World. So a lot of people know that from the comics, so they are using that storyline with some twists and turns, and that will allow them to have Doom be the savior, find a way to, yes, not save everybody, but save a lot of different people from several different universes, and put them in the main timeline and control them, roll over them, have his henchmen, and police the world. That's Battle World. So that's very interesting. It makes a lot of sense, and there was a lot of talks before that people thought that they were going to use this void area, like the same one from Deadpool and Wolverine. Not talking about Century's Void, we're talking about the void and Loki and Deadpool and Wolverine, where you get all these universes that died and you get the remnants of them. That was supposed to be, according to these sources, what they thought at least of what the timeline was going to be. Battle World was supposed to be the void, essentially, and they changed that narrative around, from my understanding. Now again, this is all speculation, but I thought it'd be interesting to hear these speculations. But the whole gist of it is that instead of making the void the Battle World, they're going to make Battle World the main timeline and have all these universes appear in the main timeline. You can have several different characters from the different Marvel universes at one, and you can have the Void Century is pretty much a way for characters that don't have knowledge, or pick characters that do have knowledge of everything that happens, because Doctor Doom is going to erase the memories of the characters that had knowledge, except for the ones that escape to the void area, where those are going to be the main Avengers. You're gonna have like Hulk, probably Sam Wilson, Shang-Chi, and all those main characters, the Avengers currently, to face Doctor Doom, and they're gonna have to figure out how to come defeat him. So that's mainly the gist of it. I know I haven't articulated this all that great, but I do think that it's an interesting theory, and we'll just have to see what they do moving forward. I think it's a great idea to get a kickstart what their plans are moving forward, have this reboot, have a fresh new start, get people excited, and then you can continue it after Secret Wars, other than waiting so long. Because the smart reason why that's a great idea is because we don't have to wait till way after Secret Wars for them to make a project to continue a new slate. We can have it now, because it's going to be another few years till Doomsday. At least a year and a half. You can have Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and then Avengers Doomsday, and then Secret Wars. So to have to wait until after Secret Wars at the end of 2027, 2028, 2029 to get the fresh reboot and new start for MCU, it makes a lot more sense to get a kickstart on it and implement things that they can do to improve the franchise. And really, that's all I want, is them to keep making improvements and just make movies that we enjoy. And that's all I can really ask for entertainment, and I can't be more excited. I am getting more excited hearing these rumors. It's almost the same feeling I've gotten with the Infinity Saga leading up to it. So I think it's all looking good, but I don't want to get too carried away. I know they could make a lot of mistakes, they could drop the ball, and all of these things they could do, but ultimately I do think they're going in the right direction. And as long as they do the main things they need to do, is look, when you're going to reboot, and they talked about they're obviously going to keep certain characters. You need to keep a certain number of characters moving into your next phase, the Mutant Saga, and you definitely need to keep characters like Thor, because you want to make a new Thor movie to redeem him from Thor Love and Thunder and have a good end to his character. That makes sense. You need Hulk. You need to also redeem his character. You need Shang-Chi, who is a newer character that you have not spent an ounce of time on after his movie in 2021 and Phase 4, and we're in Phase 6. So we better get a lot more of his character, because he was a well-received one, and that was a time where there wasn't many of those well-received characters in Phase 4 or 5, and even now there's just a handful. So you need characters that we're invested in, that we enjoy, that is going to take the mantle from the original Avengers, because you need those Avenger characters, right? You can recast Iron Man, Thor, not Thor, keep Thor for now, and recast Captain America and Tony Stark, and we can make a new universe that also involves the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers characters, and they can all work just like they envisioned if they had all the rights to the character from the start. So imagine if the MCU had all the characters from the start. What if they had access to the X-Men characters, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man from the start, all these characters that they haven't had in the past or haven't introduced. Now you have Shang-Chi and all these other characters. They really have an opportunity to make this something special moving forward, or they have the opportunity to make this another disaster. So let me know what you think. Do you think they're going in the right direction, or do you think they're going in the wrong direction? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love to hear your thoughts. And until the next video, guys, Chino out.